Tasmai
unto him, Bhagavate, the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Namaha,
Namaha,
my respectful obeisances.
my respectful obeisances.
Okay. Now translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Prahlada Maharaja replied, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose external energy has created the distinctions of my friend and my enemy by deluding intelligence of men. Indeed, I am now actually experiencing this, although I have previously heard of it from authoritative sources. Okay, purport. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 5:18, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Astini Sunichaiva Swapakacha Pandita Samadarshana. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog and dog-eater, outcast. Pandita, those who are actually learned, the equiposed, advanced devotees who have full knowledge of everything, do not see any living entity as an enemy or friend. Instead, with broader vision, they see that everyone is part of Krishna, as confirmed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jivera Surupahaya Krishnera Nityadasa. Every living entity, being part of the Supreme Lord, is meant to serve the Lord. Just as every part of the body is meant to serve the whole body. As servants of the Supreme Lord, all living entities are one, but a Vaishnava, because of his natural humility, addresses every other living entity as Prabhu. A Vaishnava sees other servants to be so advanced that he has much to learn from them. Thus, he accepts all other devotees of the Lord as Prabhus, masters. Although everyone is a servant of the Lord, one Vaishnava servant, because of humility, sees other servants as his master. Understanding of the master begins from understanding of the spiritual master. Yasya prasadad bhagavad prasado Yasya prasadad nagati kutopi. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. Sakshadharitvena samasta shastrer ukta tata bhavyata eva sadbihi kintu prabhurya priya eva tasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. The spiritual master is to be honored as much as the Supreme Lord, because he is the most confidential servitor of the Lord. This is acknowledged in all revealed scriptures and followed by all authorities. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Sri Hari Krishna. The spiritual master, the servant of God, is engaged in the most confidential service of the Lord, namely delivering all the conditioned souls from the clutches of Maya, in which one thinks this person is my enemy. and that one is my friend. Actually, the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead is the friend of all living entities. And all living entities are eternal, servant of the Supreme Lord. Oneness is possible through this understanding, not through artificially thinking that every one of us is God or equal to God. The true understanding is that God is the Supreme Master and that all of us are servants of the Supreme Lord and are therefore on the same platform. This had already been taught to Prahlada Maharaja by his spiritual master, Narada. But Prahlada was nonetheless surprised by how a bewildered soul thinks one person is enemy and another is friend. As long as one adheres to the philosophy of duality, thinking one person a friend and another an enemy, he should be understood to be in the clutches of Maya. The Mayavadi philosopher who thinks that all living entities are God and are therefore one is also mistaken. No one is equal to God. The servant cannot be equal to the master. According to the Vaishnava philosophy, the master is one and the servants are also one. The master is one and the servants are also one. But the distinction between the master and the servant must continue even in the liberated stage. In the conditioned stage, we think that some living beings are our friends, whereas others are enemies, and thus we are in duality. In the liberated stage, however, the conception is that God is the master and that all living entities, being servant of God, are one. Okay? Hare Krishna. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दश्च ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मित्तयेन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवं गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महामादन्याय कृष्णप्रेमाप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपगदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपादान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सघना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साधुवैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सघना ललित श्रीविशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्ण करुण सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते हे कृष्ण करुण सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते हे कृष्ण करुण सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये तप्त कांचन गौरांगी Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha kalpatarubhya cha kripa sindhobhyeva cha पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवभ्यो नमो नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवभ्यो नमो नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे राधा 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 राधा. Okay, this is the very important verse in this chapter. Here, actually, after Hiranyakashipu saw that Prahlad is influenced by some enemy enemy gangs, or enemies of his enemies, like the devotees of Supreme Lord, devotees of Krishna, he considers as his enemies. From enemy camp, when his son is being spoiled, that's why he was chastising the spiritual masters of Prahlad Maharaj, the sons of Shukracharya, Sand and Amarta. So, Amarka. And so he is sending Prahlad back to them and asking them to, properly train him and give proper education, and that material education, like what education he wanted to give to Prahlad, that education is sending. Now, the spiritual masters of Prahlad, this Sanda and Amarka, they are asking the question, because Prahlad is completely different from other children. He is talking about the high Vaishnava philosophy and all those things which don't go into their head because they are demoniac, and they want to this is not normal for any kings to give education to his children or son, the proper education to how to do the administration, how to run the kingdom, all those things, the politics and economics, those things. So, and also military, those things are to be taught to Prahlad, but Prahlad is in a different stage, and whatever his spiritual masters talk, he is talking much higher philosophy, Vaishnava philosophy, they didn't go to. So now they are trying to find out who is influencing Prahlad. That's why they are questioning Prahlad. And first two verses are Sanda and America are asking question to Prahlad, how he is getting influenced, who is teaching all those things to him. And now after they question, now Prahlad is answering to them. This verse is the Prahlad's answer. Here Prahlad is revealing the sources of his energies, where he learned all those things. he is, giving the knowledge that where he gets all this knowledge. Here, most importantly, this Prabhupada's purport is very wonderful. His full details are there in the purport itself. And here Prahlad is explaining how the material energy is working. That's actually is because Prahlad has been taught by Narada Muni when he was in the womb of his mother, and Narada Muni was teaching him, and he is listening, and he is understanding the entire philosophy. Now Prahlad is not an ordinary soul like us. He's a different. He's a self-realized soul even before coming to the womb only. So, and also because this is the process of getting the knowledge in the material body. After we take birth, whatever in our previous body, what we learned, we may be self-realized and everything it will be there. But still, we, in the new body, we have to get educated. Everything we have to do as fresh. Although within our this subtle body or the mind which we carry in the Atma carries in the material life, so that all memories are there, but still you have to go through the process. We can understand when Lord Krishna appeared, he also went through, because he also had the spiritual master, went to Gurukul and all those process. But he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Why he need all those things? But this is the process what need to happen. It's an example for everyone, of us. Supreme Personality himself, is teaching us. Like, he went to Sandipini Mani's ashram and he did all those services, but manual services for Sandipini Mani. He did all those things. It's an example. Similarly, everyone has to, go through this process. First of all, to get the knowledge. In our case, what happened? We are actually ordinary souls, right? And we are in this material life for many millions of trillions of years, I think, and in different bodies, maybe human body, maybe animal body. There's all those things are there, but we forget all those things. We don't take any memory of our previous life. Now we don't know what previously in previous life we were there. We don't know, but we all forgot. But for that purpose, we have to go through this process, learning everything. Here, Prahlad is understanding, although he understood everything from Narada Muni, he is understanding one thing: the Maya of the Supreme Lord. In material life, there are two these things which we need to understand. In material world, Krishna's Maya works. That's delusion. The living entity is delusioned by the Maya of Sri Krishna. Is Sri Krishna's energy. Maya also Sri Krishna's energy. Is called Mahamaya and Yogamaya. Yogamaya is in the spiritual world and Mahamaya in the material world. Mahamaya's business is give delusion, forgetfulness of Krishna, and get into what Maya offers, what the material world offers to us, to get into that, get attached to that. Maya always delusion. So the one thing is, if we think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and it's called Adhyatma. Adhyatma means spirituality. Because in the material world, two things are working. One is material energy, and then is the superior energy. Material energy and the superior energy is called, we are Jivatma, we are part of Krishna. We are part and parcel, but it's a very minute part. It's not. Krishna is like ocean. We are just a drop of ocean. We have all the qualities of that drop, all the qualities of Krishna, but in a very minute. So, if the Krishna, if it's a ocean can drown anybody and anything, but a drop can't drown anyone. So we are like that. We are just a drop of Krishna, and we are subject to delusion. In this material world, we are subject to delusion, means Maya. Maya Prata Dhyana. Like, whatever the knowledge we get, Maya comes and make us forgetful of. Then, accordingly, what our this Atma, internal thing, it is it's habituated. Our mind is always habituated in getting attracted to also sense gratifications, material sense gratification, eating nice things and enjoying those kind of things, sense gratification. It's accustomed to it, and it will go for that only. Our tendency is to enjoy the senses, all those seeing nice things and all those things, and eating nice things and enjoying the sense gratification, all those things. Our mind is always attracted on the sense gratification thing. If it is in our front of us, and we may be, doing so many things, we are getting attracted to that. So that attraction is the creation of Maya. Maya makes us so that we are inbound, we are bound in this material world millions and trillions of years. Maya doesn't want us to get out of it unless we surrender to the Supreme Lord, because Maya works under the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Maya is also servant of the Supreme Lord, but like here, in the material world, we can say prison house. In the prison house, the all criminals are going to the prison, and there is a prison superintendent is there. The superintendent business is keeping the prisoners bound in the prison rules. There are so many rules in the prison they have to do. So he sees that the prisoners are following those rules, and accordingly they are there. That's the superintendent business. Similarly, this Maya is the superintendent of this material world, where it has to keep the living entities bound by the rules of this material world. And here in the material world, it's all sense enjoyment, enjoying the senses, the loving those enjoyments and all this. Although Krishna says it is dukkhalam ashvasatam, everything is not permanent here. It is all ashvasatam. It's all go away. Everything. Everything in the material world, it's nothing is shashvat. It's all getting to, like it will come up, become stronger, then it become old, and like living entities. Even for material, any you can see any tree or anything, any flower plant or anything, it comes up very nice, then it comes nice flowers and all these things, then it is deteriorated and it needs to go away. Like similarly, we are born small child and grow up, become young man, and all those passionate things we do. Then we become old. Then the body doesn't give 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 support to us. Then we have to leave the body. Then we go deteriorated. Like maybe in the younger time we may look very handsome, but when old age comes, all those wrinkles and all those things, can't walk properly. We have to walk with the stick and all those things, because this temporary world is, everything is temporary. But there is another permanent world is there. So for that, actually, Krishna makes us. Uh, Krishna makes us. Krishna wants us to go into the spiritual world. So that where he is the master and we are the servant. That's what the spiritual master is teaching us. Don't remain in this material world and enjoying senses and all those things. You go to the spiritual world. How we go to the spiritual world? It is not like, if you enjoy the senses and all those things, you will be enjoying the senses and remain here, because this karmic reaction is there, the karma. So in this material world, karma works. It is all only based upon the karma only. Whatever the next body you get is based on your karma, what you did now. If you are doing very excellent, those supporting works to others, welfare activities and all do, and you will get credits on that. You will go to heavenly planets and enjoy it. And if you do all those criminal activities, you will go down hellish planets, and also you will take birth in, when you take birth again, you will get in a animal kingdom and all those things. So that's what the rules are here. But that's the material, the part of it. Then spiritual part of it. So getting out of this, the cycle, whatever the cycle it happens, that's this birth, death, all this disease and all those things. This is a cycle actually coming and going back, coming and going back also. Punaragamana, what is in Hindi we call it Punaragamana, coming and going, this cycle. If we have to get out of that cycle, what we need to do? We have to accept a spiritual master. Spiritual master, actually a spiritual master who will guide the disciple to how to get out of this cycle of Maya, birth and death. This cycle of birth and death, how we get out. So getting out of the cycle of birth and death is only one way to understanding the spiritual world and understanding the Supreme Lord, how Supreme Lord's energy works and what we need to do. One thing is understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead is everything. This material world also created by him, it's also runs by his energy, and spiritual world also is by himself only. He himself has expanded in so many. All these living entities, we are all part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. We are expansions, his expansions. But we are, since we are minute, we don't have that energy, and we become delusioned in this material world, and we are covered. So this covering has to be removed. How the covering, whatever the covering delusion we have, that need to be removed. So for that we need the guidance. So that's the spiritual master is guiding. The guidance what he gives is we have to think of Supreme Personality in everything, and we start loving the Supreme Personality of Godhead and doing service to him, understanding all his leelas, then getting liberated from the delusion. The Maya is creating the delusion, right? This is delusion. Okay. Like, we go into dip in any particular, like, colored water or anything. When you dip into that and the color water, okay, we put in and we dip it in the color water, we become the holy, we understand, right? All those color. So that color we are dipped. So we are covered. So you don't know anything. Now this coloring has to be removed. So that removing process is done by the spiritual master, and whoever all those advanced living entities like acharyas and all, and Krishna especially gives in Bhagavad Gita entire thing how we get liberated, and also how we materially live also. The Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, all those things are there. So we can understand by reading Bhagavad Gita itself, we will be able to understand. And in this, Krishna says, Ananyas chintayato mam ejana paripasate. Ananyas, we have to think of Krishna is the only, is the person. Krishna is the only, Ananya, no one else, only Krishna. Like, if we have to worship, we have to make advancement in spiritual life. So we have to take up only one. We should have a Ishta Devata, only one. So if for everything we have to go to him only. The Ishta Devata, like you like Krishna, okay, just Krishna only, nothing else. So we can understand. So if we taking so many other, like in India, if the process is in India, process is worshipping so many demigods and all those things for different things. We'll say, we worship Shiva for getting something, we worship Ganesh for something, we worship Durga for something, or like this, demigod worship and all those things. That. But Krishna is discouraging this. By example, also, we can see, like, Draupadi. Draupadi, when Dushyasan came to disrobe her, she was thinking, no, Dushyasan can't do anything. My 5 husbands are there, they are so powerful, they will protect me. So she was thinking like that. So he dragged her here and he tried to disrobe her. And she was praying to, but they didn't come. Then she was thinking, then Bhishma, Drona and all these acharyas will protect her. So she was praying to, Bhishma and all those things, but they also didn't come. So they couldn't do anything. So they're all helpless. Then she thought, then she was holding her sari with her teeth, because you should not, because it's insult, right? Teeth. So long as we think somebody else will protect us, then Krishna doesn't do anything. But what had happened, then she got afraid. Now even she can't hold it and nobody is helping. Then she remembered Krishna. So then she immediately said Govinda. So remembered Krishna and Krishna became her sari. So Dushashan couldn't do anything. And he was pulling the sari, pulling the sari, pulling the sari. It's unlimited sari because Lord Krishna himself is the sari. So what Dushashan can do? So that's the example actually. Ananya, if at all, instead of Draupadi going thinking of all those things, going for her husband or this Bhishma and Drona and all those things, or Kripacharya and all those elders to protect her, if at all the moment the Dushashan came to disrobe her, if she would have been remembered, then Dushashan would not have been able to touch her at all, because Krishna would have been immediately taken care of her. So that's the example for us. For anything, we should go to our Ishtadevata, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We don't need to go to anyone else. So that's the understanding what Prahlad Maharaj is giving. From this verse is giving us the knowledge, giving us the clue what we need to do. What we need to do, because that's the clue here, and that's for our understanding. So we should not get attracted all this Maya, the delusion, which the Maya of the Supreme Lord creates for us to be remaining in this material world. But there is another process, the Krishna only doing. It is Krishna's energy only. The spiritual masters, all this spiritual knowledge, all this Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and these acharyas, all provided by Krishna. So whatever our desire is, could be fulfilled. If at all you want to make advancement in material life, then all these material energies are there. Just go for that. You will make advancement in material life, and you will come back again and again and remain in the material world perpetually. Anantagala. So, but if you want to go out of this all this material energy, birth, death, and all those things, then we have to take a spiritual master and study these literatures, and study this adhyatma knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have to have how this works, and moreover that we have to love the Supreme Personality, our attachment, because normally in the material world, what we love our wife, children, and friends, and all those things, we know more attachment with them. So our attachment from them, you have to take it away. And that attachment should go to the Supreme Person, the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Our attachment with the all spiritual thing, spiritual activities. And the more and more we get attached to it, and we detach from here, getting attached there. Once we get attached there, we want everything. And at the end of life, when we have to give up this body, then Yamadutas come. But Yamadutas won't come to the devotees of Krishna. The Vaishnavas, Yamadutas don't come. Though Krishna's servants come to take to us, like we read in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So when Yamadutas come to take Ajamila, then Vishnu Dutas came and stopped them. So it means for the devotees, all this pain of Yamadutas is not there. It's only Vishnu Dutas come and take us. That's at the time of, that's only when we remember Krishna at the time of death. How we will be able to remember Krishna at the time of death? Because at the time we may be having so many pains and all those things. But that's why we have to start loving Krishna now. When our body is good and we are healthy and all those things, at that time only we have to start, not at the end. After going to a hospital, lying in a hospital bed, and your mind will not go to Krishna at all. You are thinking of all the pain and all those things. And what happens to my children, my property, and all those things? You may be thinking in the hospital bed or anything. We know we have to do in advance only. We are advance prepare to go for that Vishnu Dutas come and they will take away. And also that's one thing, going to the spiritual world, or so then we have to get liberated. That so that liberation is we have to nullify whatever good karma, bad karma, or anything. We have to get nullified. How we nullify? When our karma is done in the name of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for Him we are doing all those activity. Whatever I am doing, if you think that he is Krishna is doing, not me, then it becomes nullified. And we don't get the credit or debit or anything, and we'll be able to get out of this cycle of birth and death. So that's the clue Prahlad Maharaj giving in this verse, which we sincerely follow it, and we will be able to get out of this material world and go to spiritual world. That's which is our goal. Every living entity has to have this goal, that I want to get out of this material world. That goal, if we have, then we'll follow. Because when we have a goal, then we have to work on that particular goal, right? If I have to become an accountant, then I have to go to accounting college and learn accounting. And in that process, similarly, if I have to get out of this material world and go to spiritual world, then I have to follow that procedure. So what I need to do, I have to take a spiritual master and study Srimad Bhagavatam, study Bhagavad Gita, and follow this and do the services to the Supreme Lord. And then I get attached to that and I do daily basis all those things, then it automatically becomes my habit. Once it has become a habit, even if I'm in a difficult situation, automatically it becomes remembrance Krishna. Also, Krishna has the special mercy, for the special devotees, like who are completely dedicated to Him. Completely we are surrendered to Krishna. Whatever you do, let it be like that. And when you're complete surrender, Krishna takes care of, like same verse which I said, He takes care of all of us. Ananyas chinte tomam yejana paripasate. So Krishna will be taking care of that. So that's why we have to do the practice, and we take a spiritual master, study the Bhagavatam, regularly remember about Krishna, regularly. Ananyas chintayatama. Just Krishna only, nothing else. Ananyas, always think of Krishna. And all these activities, Krishna's activities, think of Vrindavan and all those things. When we are in a spiritual mind, even death, anytime it comes, then automatically we will be liberated. Even death comes on the way or something like that. And we should not go to the hospital at all. In the last moment, we should not go to the hospital at all, because in the hospital you will be deluded and you will not be able to remember Krishna. So don't go to the hospital anytime. If you have to die, you have to die at your home and thinking of Krishna always, and chant Krishna's name. And at the moment, if you think that death is coming to you, at the time try to remember Krishna immediately, so that you will be liberated. Okay, so that's for now. I will stop it here. Okay, okay, Prabhu. Okay, if you have any, you heard anything? No, not heard anything. Okay, you have any questions or anything? You can ask. In concerns or anything.
Very nice class, Prabhuji.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. If any question or any concerns or any comments?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I'll just have one reflection and then maybe one question also.
Sure.
So I appreciate this point you said that when we are accepting spiritual master, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, doing services, this is the way one becomes attached to the Supreme Lord. And not like at the end of the time at the end of life we have to worry, we have to do now only when we are having everything. We have to practice Krishna consciousness like that.
Yes.
Now, see, but what happens is, like, sometimes when devotees, they feel that the attachment is not developing quickly. It is taking time. Sometimes this kind of feeling is there.
Yes.
So the devotee may become little discouraged sometimes.
Yeah.
And feel that, oh, I'm doing it, for many years I'm chanting. But still I'm not feeling attached to chanting. For many years I'm worshipping the deity, but The bhava is not coming. I'm not becoming attached to deities.
Yes.
So how to contract this kind of discouraging thoughts and still be enthusiastic to go
Yes.
on in our services?
Yes, that's actually is go on doing that, because why some devotees immediately get attached to Krishna and some devotees don't get Krishna for longer time. This the difference. Become various living entities, different they get the baggage what we bought in, like our prarabdha karma, what that has to be negated. Whatever bad karmas we have, so that has to be negated by doing this service. So we have to continue to do. Should not get discouraged. We have to continue to do. Even if it is not giving us any, but we have to continue to do. That is the determination. The word of determination comes to play there. So I am determined to do this. If you continuously do it, even adverse results are coming. Continue. That's a challenge actually. We have to fight the challenge.
Yes.
Address the challenge. That is challenge. Challenge comes, it is normal. We have done so many and it's not happening. That's because we had that prarabdha, bad karma, which is not been erased yet. So that's why the devotee has to be very patient. Patient, remain, and have faith. Faith in Krishna. Krishna will definitely protect you. So that faith need to be there. When that faith is there, automatically then they get attached. Maybe it's a little longer time. For somebody, it is maybe immediately, because their baggage must have been cleared up already immediately. Like that in the flight, sometimes our baggage comes first, immediately, and sometimes it comes in the last. But baggage will come, right? So similarly, whatever goal is will be reached, but it's a matter of time only. So okay.
Nice.
Does that
Thank
make
you.
sense?
Yes, yes.
Very well.
Let us
Thank
go
you.
on. Let us go on doing the same devotional
Correct.
practice.
Go on doing that, not to, just little patience. You have to, put in a little more patience and go on doing that. They will reach the goal. Like
Thank you.
that story is there, right?
Squirrel.
Yeah. So like that, we'll definitely reach. In little time only. That's okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Anything else? You have anything? Any question?
I think I had same question like online.
Same question? Oh, very good. Thank you very much.
Morning class it was related to.
Yeah. So this previous verse actually where Prahlad Maharaj was asked questions, so many things. So this is what he is replying now. This is the answer. And he is revealed the entire, the secret of what it is. Okay. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhus, for listening to